recent weeks or in recent times, the question in everybody's mind, or rather every Nigerian person's mind, is what happened to CBEX. So CBEX is the China Beijing Equity Exchange, and they actually came to position themselves as a legitimate digital investment, whereas they were actually a Ponzi scheme or a pyramid scheme, like you might want to say. So you might be wondering, what is a Ponzi scheme? What is a pyramid scheme? Or who is CBEX, or CBEX, excuse me? My name is Amaju Ajagwawa, and I am the co-host of the SEC Nigeria podcast. And with me today in the studio, I have a very beautiful, intellectual, gorgeous woman in the person of Executive Commissioner, Legal and Enforcement, Miss Frana Chukwuogor. Miss Frana, you're most welcome to the show today.
Thank you, Amma.
You're very welcome. And must I say again, you look very, very splendid.
And so do you. Thank you.
Thank
you for having me on.
So Miss Frana is going to be here today to tell us the telltale signs of Ponzi schemes. She's going to tell us how is SEC protecting the investors. And she's also going to teach us what Ponzi scheme is about. So, Miss Frana, I know that you're the Executive Commissioner, Legal and Enforcement in the Securities and Exchange Commission. So from a regulator's point of view, or a Ponzi scheme, or can we please be more enlightened about what they are and what the SEC is doing to curb this whole situation?
Thank you, Amma, and good morning, viewers and listeners, and welcome to this podcast that is focused on Ponzi's. Yes, Amma, well, an ordinary person on the street, the first thing that comes to their mind, Ponzi. Pyramid, are we talking about the pyramids that you know in terms of structure like the ones you have in Egypt?
Exactly.
But no, we're talking about pyramid schemes in the financial sense of that word. I would like for us to start with a general overview of Ponzi's. What is a Ponzi? A Ponzi is an illegal, unregistered, unsustainable scheme where some operators come in and market what is not feasible to investors. So essentially, a Ponzi scheme is a scheme that has no underlying business purpose or source of profit or income. It relies on recruiting new investors, practically new investors just walking through their door for them to be able to sustain the business. So they use the monies that they get from later investors to pay the earlier investors without making any form of identifiable investment in anything or in any business. So to sustain that kind of business, you have to constantly bring in new people through the door. If new people stop coming through the door, if all the people who are in that scheme ask for their money, the business must crash, because it's like a building that has no foundation. Exactly. It's going to crash even when there's a slight wind or a slight rain. So that's a Ponzi for you. Somebody may ask you, how would I know? How can I differentiate between a Ponzi and a legitimate scheme?
Yes.
Because to the ordinary eye,
Ponzi
they look
like
very similar.
Yes.
There are telltale signs. If someone is selling you an investment, the first question on your mind would be, this is my hard-earned money. You're coming forward to ask me to part with money for you to invest for me, to build up the money in terms of yield and returns. So the first thing that should come to your mind is to verify that that investment actually fits the structure of a legal investment. So what would be that telltale sign if someone is marketing something to you? If someone is marketing an investment to you and the first thing they tell you is, oh, this investment would give you such exponential or high returns with no risk, and usually they will tell you that the returns are guaranteed, come rain, come shine. Red flag.
Red flag.
If someone comes to you and says, give me your money, I would manage it, but don't ask too many questions. Red flag. If you go to someone who's marketing an investment to you, and this person cannot show you proof that the regulatory agency that is responsible for oversighting investments and any approach to the public to bring in investment, if they can't show you a completed registration instrument, it's likely going to be a Ponzi. If anyone is marketing an investment to you, and the first thing on their mind is how many more people you will recruit and bring in, problem. So, my dear listeners, every single time someone walks up to you and you see these things, you should really deal with the person with a lot of caution, because chances are it is a Ponzi scheme. And a Ponzi scheme is nothing but a scam. It's a financial scam.
Yes.
There's no way to paint it. There's no way to make it look good. It's illegal. It's prohibited. It shouldn't function in any economy. It shouldn't. So we as a regulator, I also remember that part of the things you asked me was, as a regulator, what are we doing about this?
What is the SEC doing?
What is the Securities and Exchange Commission doing about this? First, let me tell you who we are. We are Securities Exchange Commission. And our mandate by law is to regulate the investment space and to develop the market. How do we regulate? We have so many tools through which we regulate. One of the most critical ones is registration. Registration is the hallmark of regulation. Registration means you introduce yourself to me.
Exactly.
I get to know who you are. I assess to know whether you have the capacity and the standing to operate in that space, and whether you actually have what it takes to collect money from the public. So now I know you, now you have a name, and now you have a face. We also monitor. We also surveil. We also have you file in certain returns to the commission, so we know you, and so we have a relationship. So we register you. The next thing about what the SEC does, there's the investor-facing component of the equation. I've just talked about those who will provide the service, we register them. You, the investor that will participate in whatever they are offering, be it products, be it using their platform. What we do is to educate you, because an educated investor is a protected investor. When I educate you, you can make better informed decisions. You can ask the right questions. You can make the right reportings. You will be able to spot when something is not right, and you would know where to go. So we educate the investor. And this week in particular, there's something we're planning. We were already planning this before CBEX came on board. What is it? We wanted to do a mass investor education on Ponzis, because we want every Nigerian to know what Ponzis are and avoid them. It pains me as a regulator when anyone walks through the door and says, I lost money. If you lost money because of ignorance, I feel bad. But if you lost money because of greed, the feelings are mixed.
Yes.
And most of these two things sometimes play hand in hand. A Ponzi would not succeed if you are educated as an investor and you know the signs and you know the questions to ask and you know the issues to raise. The Englishman says it takes two to tango. If there's someone who is giving something and there's no taker, it's never going to work. The only reason Ponzis can thrive in any environment is because there's a buyer and there's a seller. There's willingness on both sides. So we would like to educate the investor so that willingness ceases. Because if you've worked hard to earn your money, you should generously guard and protect your money. What are we going to do? Our plan entails that we hit the streets. We want to go to the markets, interface with our investors that are out there in the markets. We want to go to schools. We want to go to churches and mosques. We want to go everywhere there's an aggregation of Nigerians and let them know what to avoid. Because we believe also that our work will be easier if we're able to inform the investors enough. The investors also are a watchdog. They are the ones who should be able to raise some of these alarms early enough, even tell us what's going on. You cannot possibly, except if you're God. But if you're not God, you cannot see and know what's going on. You know because people tell you. You know because you use intelligence to gather information. So by the time we finish this outreach, people should know where to go, how to contact us, what kind of reports to make, what they see that they must report, and what they themselves should not do so that they don't lose their money.
And fall victims.
Absolutely.
Yes. So we have been talking a lot about CBEX and what the SEC is doing. I personally like the Ponzi scheme campaign. Am I safe to call it that?
Yes, please. You can amend.
Yes, I like the fact that we can go to every nook and cranny and catch them, because CBEX leveraged on WhatsApp, they leveraged on Telegrams, they leveraged on influencers, pushing this false accusation, this false hope that, okay, this is what we are, your money is safe with us, right? But if we're able to reach out to people and tell them this is what it is, don't fall victim, then we are definitely doing a good job. But there's one more question I would like to ask. So for the new Investment and Securities Act 2025 has been out, and I know part of that act is any Ponzi scheme that is being found, right? The perpetrators stands a certain amount of time in jail and are also made to pay a certain
very well
amount of
deserved.
money. Yeah, so please can you just enlighten us a bit about that?
All right, well, thank you viewers once again. You know, we had a new law that's just been signed into law recently. What that law has done for us is strengthen our hands. We had some of those responsibilities before, but more than anything else, the law has empowered us even more. Because if there's no consequence that is measurable to either the wrong that is being done, people are going to wait. They are going to say, okay, if I do this, if I can, just a slap on the wrist and get away with it, then that's fine. They will do it. People sometimes avoid wrongdoing because of the weight of the consequences they'll suffer. So what the Investment and Securities Act 2025 has done is to clearly state what will be the consequences for any operator or facilitator of Ponzi scheme. If you operate or facilitate a Ponzi scheme, and if it's proven that you have so done, the law now prescribes that you will get minimum of 10 years in jail. There you can cool your heels and just think about what you've done wrong and how you have scammed people of their money. The other portion of it is that you will pay 20 million minimum in fine. But that should not just be it. You could do both of them, could actually apply to one person. So investors, I want you to be wary, because in participating, you may also be facilitating. What does facilitation mean? You are Peter, you move in. You recruit Paul, you recruit Jessica. You go and sell this same false story to as many people as possible. Mind you, financial dealings most of the time operate on trust.
Yes.
People actually deal with people that they trust.
Yes.
So they have this trust, they trust you, they bring in their money, and the scheme goes belly up. You may not escape the long arms of the law, and the arms of the law are really very long.
Yes, they are.
So we want to warn, they say to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Let us step away from this psychology that we're taking first comers advantage. There is no first comer advantage in what is illegal. If you step up and step in, a lot of people have this mentality that I will go in, I will go out before it collapses.
Yes, exactly.
But remember that while you're planning on going in and going out, you're going out with somebody else's money. Even morally speaking, it's not justified that you should be satisfied that somebody is paying you with another person's money. The person who comes later goes away empty-handed. Probably it's a retiree who has worked all their lives and is about to just settle down and enjoy the benefits of the hard work they did, and there's no money. How bad would you feel if those were related to you? So please, let us also on our own part try not to be facilitators. But there's something else I wanted to add to this. Please, as a potential investor, part of the things we're going to be drumming into your consciousness, if you see something, please say something. Say something to the SEC.
Yeah.
We're going to be publishing all of the ways and means through which you can reach us. We are always available, whether it's by telephone, whether it's by email, whether it's by actually physical correspondence. However you want to do it, we're here. We have zonal offices around the country. There are places you can go. So please, if you see something, tell us. You are our eyes, you are our ears, you are actually our partner in this drive to make sure that Ponzi's don't thrive. Don't feel particularly bad. Ponzi's didn't start in Nigeria. It's existing all over the world. Because Ponzi schemes thrive on either the naivety, ignorance, or greed of an investor. You remove these three elements, Ponzi's would not thrive anywhere.
Thank you very, very
Thank
much.
you.
I mean, all of your honestly, it's just, it's amazing. So see something, say something, and also verify before you
invest.
Verify.
And if it is good to be true, it is indeed too good to be true.
I mean, she couldn't have said it any better. Thank you very much, Miss Frana, for being on the show today. It was really wonderful having you. Thank you for breaking down what Ponzi scheme was, and I hope my viewers and my listeners had as much fun as I did today. So till I come your way again, Miss Frana, thank you very much for being on the show.
I thanks Amma.
Oh, thank you very much. And with that, we have come to the end of yet an exciting and educative episode of the SEC Nigeria podcast. I am still your co-host, Amaju Ajagbawa, and today we actually talked with the Executive Commissioner of Legal and Enforcement, where she practically broke down what Ponzi scheme is, what the Securities and Exchange Commission is doing to protect its investing public, some of the telltale signs of what a Ponzi or a pyramid scheme is. So basically, you don't have any excuse, okay? There is no excuse, because now we are here to educate you, and we have educated you about what the Ponzi scheme is. Like I said, I am still your co-host, Amaju Ajagbawa, and this is still the SEC Nigeria podcast. You know what to do. You can follow us on all our social media pages, our YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. It is Securities and Exchange Commission Nigeria. You can find us there. Until I come your way again, verify before you invest.